And then I'll send you the link, and you can see what I've got over there. And you can
Yeah.
also that way, if you mute the link that I send you, like mute the video on there, and that way you can see the chat too. Like if anybody says anything during the
Okay.
recording or whatever.
I don't see a chat. Is this there's a bubble thing on
No,
the
I'm
side
sending it
here?
to you right now. So click on the link I just
Oh,
sent
okay.
you, and then just make sure you mute that so it doesn't come through your. So yeah, mute that.
I don't
So
have buttons. I have mute my mic, share screen, and hang up.
oh no, you're good on Ecamm. What I'm saying is like if you click on that YouTube link I just sent you,
Oh,
just make sure you
listener?
mute. Just make sure you mute YouTube so that you don't hear a delay or whatever.
I gotcha.
No, yeah, what we're doing right now is perfect.
Okay.
You don't need to change anything. You're good.
Yeah. Okay. So you want me just to drop it in the
What did you see what I have? Is that what you want? Or
yeah,
you,
we do have a new one.
yeah, drop it in the chat, man.
Okay, let's see here.
Just send a smaller file if you have like a small version, like a thumbnail kind of
Sure.
version of it.
Um, a, would a PNG work?
Yeah, that should be fine.
Okay.
Mm.
How's it's still sending? Okay, how's that? Because
Let's see.
the
Ooh, that's pretty. You got the little neon.
yeah, we went with a neon like a retro 80s look, and one of our followers was like, "Oh, it looks like a bar that I just want to walk into."
Yeah, that's true, actually. All right, let me download
Yeah.
that real quick. Let me rename it because I'll never be able to find it with that. Yeah, it was like last minute, so I didn't want to like bother you for a logo, but I was like,
Oh yeah.
I
No
just
problem.
pulled the first one that I found online that was a decent size.
Yeah, I mean, the last one looked good too, but yeah, we just went with something a little bit more fresh.
All right, let me see if I
Oh,
can.
so are we live for your Patreons? Is that
Yeah, patrons are on here now. Yep.
okay? What's up, cinema guys?
Oh, nice. That's Brad. You know Brad Hargis, right?
Okay.
Yeah, I only so this will be live when the episode goes live, Peter. This
Yeah.
will be live for like the world on YouTube, and by world I mean probably like 100 people.
Woo!
But right now, when we record it, I've started doing this thing as a patron perk where they can like watch the recording. So
Sure. Yeah, I like that. Brad, maybe it's funny because you and I we've been on some of the movie drafts over on Justin's show, and there's been a few guys that that was on there with us that you've had as guests on your show too. So we all sleep with one another, man. Like I'm sure I'm familiar with them.
So the one you sent me, Pete, is not
Yeah.
transparent. Is that okay? It's going to show up for you here in a second. I don't know if you want me to use
Uh,
that one or if you want me to use the one that you
if
sent me.
it makes it a white square, then let's just use the OG. That's
Use
fine.
the other one? Okay. All right.
Yeah, that's totally cool. I don't want you to go through the headache.
All right. So I
Editing
just,
sucks.
yeah, no, I just want to, yeah, so there's that one. Okay. So we'll just use that one. I think it shows up a little bit better, but I did
You
like
have
that
great
neon
lighting,
though.
man. Yeah, thank you.
Oh, I wore this for you too. Yeah, my
Oh,
Elvis,
I love it. I
my
love it,
Elvis
man.
tee on.
I listened to that episode, you and Justin, whenever it came out. It was great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thanks, man. Yeah, that was a great.
Yeah.
I had to take down a lot of my music ones though. I don't know if you noticed in the feed, but I got a couple
Oh.
copyright claims
Oh
from
shit. Yeah,
Podbean.
that happens.
Hmm.
But damn, you it's not like you play them very long.
I know. It's a weird thing. It was like the one that they hit me for too was like 2 years old. It was like an episode from like 2 years ago. I was like, what?
Oh man.
So
Yeah, I know all about losing things. I mean, that's unfortunate too because those are some good episodes. But like, I don't know if you noticed, but I have a new Instagram account for my Cobra Kai podcast.
I mean, I follow you over there, but what's different about it?
I had to start a new one. The other one I
Oh,
had, yeah, 32,000 followers. Someone reported me as impersonating someone else, and Instagram, they're so quick to shut you down, but you got to give up like your firstborn and an arm and a leg to get it reinstated.
so they just
So
take whoever reports its word for it, basically.
yeah, it sucks. Yes, I had a hater report me.
Wow. So were you able to get your followers back or no?
I'm like a little over 1,000 right now,
So
but
you're just getting them back organically. It's not like they give them back to
yeah,
you. Wow.
right. It sucks, and a lot of those followers I did pick up when I had like a lot of the higher profile interviews.
Mm-hmm.
So I will maybe get like some of those back in the event I get to interview them again, because some of them are kind of like one and done. So we'll see. The show's still got a few more seasons left.
Okay, man. Let me count down from 3, and then
Yeah.
if you're ready, we'll start recording our tracks. Okay? Are you good to go if I do that?
Oh, hold on.
That way, I don't want to forget to do that part too.
Sure. I want to queue up one thing, and then let's get started. What year are we in?
It beats the hell out of me. I think it's 2021. Hey, man, thanks for doing this. I know it was a pain in the ass to schedule it and everything.
Oh, no. I mean, it's funny because I feel like it's usually the East Coasters that try to get me on, and East Coasters plus Justin, for the movie draft.
Sure.
That's it. Yeah, like I was like, why isn't there more people on the West Coast like reaching out for guests that can do it later in the evenings? Because I
Yeah.
know the 3 hour difference, man. It is a pain.
It sucks, man. And then when you're trying to do it with people like in the UK, and I do Australia with Paul sometimes, and I'm just like, oh, it's like it takes like weeks just to figure something out,
Yeah. Hey, Brad, no spoilers.
Oh shit, Brad
Don't look at the
dropping
chat.
spoilers. Oh shit, no. All right, let me know when you're ready to record, man, and we'll count down and do that real quick. So we'll be synced up there.
All right. Okay. Audacity, and I am. Oh, select the mic. ATR. Okay, I am hovering over the record. Ready when you are.
All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1, record. All right, mic check. Testing 1, testing 2.
Testes.
Test these nuts.
It's Beavis and Butthead.
Mm-hmm. All right, man. So we didn't confirm, but I'm doing top 5 movie characters that we'd like to have a beer with. Is that good?
Hey, that works.
Okay, what were we
For
doing?
me, it's kind of
Remind
like
me.
I just want to be friends. I want to be friends with said movie character.
But why don't we do it where it's like, so do you want to be like permanently friends with them, or just like one night just hang out with them and have a good time? Because that might change my list, but I guess mine might be both. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah. I definitely want to have more than just a beer, but I don't want to be permanently friends with them. Just like you don't even need to be BFFs. Like
Yeah.
just friends. Like be in their entourage.
So
You can be the turtle of the entourage.
So we'll just say like to hang out with or whatever.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about that here in a second when we come in the intro. But since you came up with the list, I'll let you kind of talk about where that came from. So that'll be cool. All right, man. Okay. So are you good? Do you need to get a beer or anything? Or are you good?
No, I think I'm good. It's actually dinner, and I think beer without the dinner probably not a good idea for me.
I'm gonna get this and show you before we start. So I got this strawberries and cream.
Okay.
Like pale ale.
Oh.
And it's from Bombshell Brewery, which is local, and I haven't had it yet, so I'm gonna pop.
I didn't see the top, so I thought you were showing me a canned strawberries.
I'm having some strawberries this evening.
Some sort of pie filling
with like whipped cream. Yeah. Let me pour this bad boy, and then we'll get going.
Sure. Also, really enjoyed the. Gosh, I'm forgetting the title of it, but it's when you had Nick, the gal from like that. Book podcast, and you guys talked about food, and she.
Oh yeah. You're talking about Melissa from Book Reading. Yeah, we
Melissa,
did.
Yeah.
We did holiday foods. Holiday foods.
Yeah, was it like a bunch of like Jewish food too? That I was like, man.
Yeah, because I guess her girlfriend that she lives with, she was just like out of nowhere was like, hey, can I do this episode? And I was like, sure, let's do it.
Gave you a little history of certain things too. Like, yeah, it was a great episode.
So they were just like sitting next to each other, and yeah, that was a fun one to do.
Yeah.
All right, man. Give me 5 seconds of silence, and then we'll do the normal 2Ps thing. And I'm gonna have to silence the comments for now, just so they don't pop up on the recording. Actually, you know what? Let me see if they do. Actually, let me look at GarageBand to see. Hey, Jason or Brad, say something or type something in the comments. I just want to see if they come up on the GarageBand. Let's see, Peter. Hang on. Run delay too. I don't think it shows up on here though. Yeah, because I think it's just recording my mic, so I don't think it. Yeah, no, it's not. Okay, so never mind. We're good there. It gives me like a little ding when somebody leaves a comment on YouTube, which is fine for me. Like I can avoid it. I can put it out of my mind. But I was wondering if it showed up on the recording, but it doesn't. So.
Okay.
All right, man. 5 seconds of silence, and then I'll come in and we'll do the 2 Ps thing, brother.
Sure.
Turn my fan down a little bit. Sorry about that. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of 2 Ps on a Podcast. I'm so thrilled that you joined us again this week, as I always am. Thank you so much for tuning in. And an old friend of the show is back this week, and it's been far too long, and my memory is not good, so he's going to have to help me remember the last time he was on. But hell, it's probably been like a year, if not longer, since this guy was on the show. But Pete's here.
Must have been. Yeah.
Well, it was a while, right? I mean, it's.
Yeah.
I don't know. You got to remind me, because I know we've done so many. This is probably like your 5th or 6th trip over here to 2 Ps, but.
Maybe not quite as much, but I would say.
Well, we did. Well, you did music movies with me. That may have been the last one. Right? We did music movies.
Probably.
La Bamba. You remember?
But then, like, also that's definitely something. And then we did something with Imran. Right?
We did Halloween tunes. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
But then we also do stuff with Justin, so like you kind of get confused too. Like I said, pre-mic, pre-recording here, that we all tend to sleep with one another, so
yeah,
kind of lose track.
Yes, definitely incestuous quite a bit there, but that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
Hey, family, like Fast and Furious is saying lately on all the memes. Right. So
right.
Peter is here now. Peter, I know from very fond memories from a show called Podstalgic. But he has been deep in the last couple of years into Cobra Kai Kompanion, which is, of course, based on the television Netflix series Cobra Kai. So Pete's back. What's up, man? Thank you so much for coming back to the P's, brother.
Hey, thank you for accepting my invitation to invite myself on. Basically, what happened was, I don't think anybody will sit here and be like, "Oh man, I had a great 2020." We all had a pretty shitty 2020.
Yeah.
I don't want to make this like really sad or anything. Very few people knew about my situation. My wife was pregnant, and we were living with her parents who are older, and so little was known at the time, and we just thought it was best that she take the kids and go stay with her sister while I stayed with the in-laws. So we were separated for about 7 months.
Mm-hmm.
I saw them as often as I could. They lived, no more than 10 minutes away, so it wasn't as bad. Mm-hmm. But when I was at home, I was very depressed. Like I filled my mini fridge full of just beer. I was coming home to a relatively empty house, waking up to an empty bed. So I found myself, kind of down in the slumps, and
right.
I didn't listen to like any podcast, really, just listen to a bunch of true crime. So at some point I started like going back and listening to like my buddies like you, and I was like, holy shit, I had like 40 some odd episodes I needed to catch up on.
I know. I keep you busy. Yeah.
You kept me busy. So, so I ended up binging in, I don't know, a week or so. I caught up, did not skip an episode. And Gerald, like, a lot of people say like your show is fun, but I think it's also an important episode. You have some people that you have come on and talk about, you have certain discussions that some pods don't have. You amplify voices that aren't amplified enough. Mm-hmm. I just wanted to kind of shout out a couple episodes that I think were fantastic and are must listens. Top 5 Black films with Kobe Mack. I thought that was a very important episode that people need to check out. And also with Loisa's, the following episode, the LGBTQ plus movies. I thought that was great too. So you often you will admit like, hey, no, I don't know about your culture or
Right.
this or that, and you're very honest about that. So that's what I do appreciate you as a podcast host.
Well, dude, I got goosebumps listening to you say that because that means so much to me, man. So I really appreciate it. I'm just out here in my garage being an idiot, but whenever I
We all.
can, right, whenever I can make some kind of impact or get through to some folks, that's always really special. So I mean, I love you, dude, and I love your
Yeah, man.
show, and I love Podstalgic back in the day, and I mean, we did Stand By Me on there together, and
Back to the Future.
Tough Turf kind of brought us,
Sure. Yeah.
boys. That was your first ever episode. I heard your voice on a podcast was a Tough Turf episode, and I was like, I got to find this guy.
And every time you mentioned that movie, I think I
Yeah,
was like, he's probably thinking of me, maybe.
yeah,
But
I am. Anytime that
yeah,
I hear that song come on in the intro, I'm like, Pete just runs through my mind.
yeah,
You're just synonymous with it now. But I really do appreciate that, man. And those were some great episodes. They were really important too, which was cool. But they happened at a very timely. Pride Month just ended, and last
yeah.
year I think is what you're talking about. I believe it was last
Hmm.
year that we did LGBT with Loy, and then obviously you mentioned black films with everything that was going on with George Floyd. So I mean, every once in a while it's like I'm doing this fun little top 5 show, but how can I incorporate that into what's going on in the world and maybe kind of like raise that voice a little bit. So I really appreciate you pointing that out, man. That was
Yeah.
really cool.
Yeah,
And
absolutely. I learned a lot about those guests as well too.
yeah, that's
So
awesome, man. And it's funny you said that too because I know you had a tough time during the pandemic, which I mean, of course, a lot of people did. So. Not to take away from anyone else's heartache or whatever during that tough period of time, which some people might still be experiencing that. But I want to say the last time you came on was in the middle of that, and you were kind of telling me like, I can't really see my kids right now, and like it was just a weird time, and you have a job where you're just on the move constantly, and
mhm.
I know that was tough for you to kind of not be able to see them back then. So, are we at a kind of at the light at the end of the tunnel for Pete for the family? I
Well,
mean,
I have been back with the family
okay,
since
all right, good.
the day before Halloween because I have a Halloween baby. You'd probably like that.
Mm-hmm,
Yeah, he was
mm-hmm.
9 days early. I got here the night before Halloween, and
That's
then the next
awesome.
morning, my wife wakes me up and she's like, "We got to go to the hospital." I'm like, "Why?" She goes, "My water broke." I go, "Oh," I give her the dumb husband look, and she's like, "That means we're having the babies."
Yeah, let's
So
go. Yeah,
let's
you're
go.
driving, dude. Like, let's
I was like,
go. Yeah.
I just got here last night, but anyway,
Well,
so
no,
yeah.
congratulations. What's the new baby's name, by the way? I don't know if I know.
His name is Jackson. I
Okay,
was
all right.
really fighting for Parker because I was named after Peter Parker, and I thought
Mm.
that would be kind of a cool,
Oh, that would be
beginning
cool.
and end for the family. Yeah.
Wow.
So, like, everyone calls him Jackson, but me and my daughter Penny, we call him Parker.
He'll be Parker.
We'll
That's
see.
all.
We'll see what catches on in a few years.
Well, that's awesome, man. And if he ever gets called Jack, then it's kind of like Nightmare Before Christmas. The night before
Well,
Halloween,
the
right?
the other name is Jack Jack, like Incredibles.
Yeah, there you go, Jack Jack too. That's a
Yeah.
good one. Well, look,
Yeah.
all this heavy conversation. While
Sure.
I appreciate it, we
We gotta
don't
get
really.
going.
Yeah, well, that's fine, but we don't really have a heavy topic tonight.
Oh no,
However,
no, no, no.
however, I'm very excited about it, and it's a list that I had to cram for because I'm so busy that I'm like, oh God, I forgot I haven't made this list yet.
Yeah.
So I got my wife's input, and I literally made the list like an hour ago, but I'm satisfied with it. I think it's great. Why don't you tell everybody, because you came up with this topic, and I think it's a really cool one. It's a very abstract topic, I feel like, but tell everyone what we're counting down tonight.
Yeah, that's a great word that it is an abstract topic. The funny thing is, I think I sent you a list of like maybe 4 topics. Not gonna lie, this was my least favorite
Oh,
because
really?
like, well, this is like a fun one, right? Like I
Right.
don't. Maybe you'll learn some things about me, maybe not. But I wanted to kind of like, hey, I know good movies too, people. But like this is just gonna be like characters. Yeah. So you mentioned off mic that this is your list is like top 5 movie characters you'd have a beer with.
Mhm.
I was thinking more like in the line of being friends with these characters, or
Okay.
if you want to be BFFs. For me, like, I, we can talk about like criteria too. So for me, I did come up with a list of like maybe almost 20, and then I started eliminating names that could probably like, well, if I was their friend, I'd probably get killed. Like,
Right. Yeah, you put yourself
no
in
Vega
danger.
brothers.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. And that also eliminated like some superheroes. And then my next criteria was, how can I benefit from being friends with said person?
Mm.
Because I ain't shit. So I need friends that have things that I can leech off of.
Well,
Because I am a vulture like that.
what's interesting to both of those points that you just made is if we steer in the direction that I was talking about, Pete, and we're just having a beer with these guys, that's fine. You just have a
Yeah,
beer. You have to worry about getting killed or whatever. Just have a quick in and out. Meet them at the pub.
that's a good point.
You
That's
know
a
what I
good
mean?
point.
So
But
what are we calling this, Pete? Are we calling this our top 5 movie characters that we would like to hang out with? Is that good?
I'll hang out with, sure. Because again, like my list is like I am benefiting from these people somehow.
Okay, all right. So you're doing some kind of a leeching off of them type
Yes.
scenario.
Yeah, because a
Well,
beer is not going to get me too far with some of these people.
yeah, I guess it depends on how good the conversation is. All right, so
Right. You're right.
we are streaming this for the patrons over on YouTube. So you guys drop some suggestions in there for us as well. What movie character, not necessarily actor, because that would be a different list, but what movie character would you like to hang out with and just kind of
Yeah.
chew the
I
fat with?
also I had one person on the list that I was like, oh man, this is a great person to be friends with. But then I was like, oh man, this is based on a real person too. So then there
It's
was
tough.
that.
Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah, it was hard.
Well, let's get into it. So we're going to do our top 5 movie characters that we would like to hang out with. I think that's what the title of this episode will be. But whatever direction you want to go in, Pete, you know me, man.
Okay,
If
sure.
you're happy, I'm happy, brother. So why don't you get us started?
Absolutely.
What is your number 5?
All right, my number 5. Also, Gerald, I made your list too.
What do you?
If you can humor me, like when you give
Oh,
yours, then be like, oh, this is what I thought you would have at.
Oh, okay. So let's do that at the end. We'll see how many we matched up on. Yeah, that's interesting.
All
I'll
right.
be excited to see that.
All right, and also it's like it's a big joke. It's nothing serious.
Oh, right.
It's like, hey, I know this about you. So, my number 5. Now, this person, why I decided this person would be a good friend for me is because I feel that this person wouldn't necessarily get you killed. You'd probably get locked up,
Hmm.
for a lot of the things that he might have you do, but eventually you'll probably get out of jail. But this is Danny Ocean from the Ocean's 11 movies.
That's a good one. I have an interesting plot twist on that one, but I like
Oh,
that. And
okay.
also, I have an anecdote too about this. Did you know this about me? You knew that I had a drink with George Clooney, right? You know that,
I
right?
sure did. Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
so did you
Your
do this for me?
sister texted you to come down here, and then you guys kind of stayed
That's
away
right.
from the other side.
That's
And
right.
then he came up, bought you guys a drink, or paid for your drinks.
Yeah, so I use that term loosely that I had a drink with him because I did. I didn't have a
Sure.
drink with him. I said hey, told him I was a big fan and that kind of thing, and he bought us a drink. So that is
Yeah.
generally I embellish a little bit in terms of having a drink with him. But that's interesting that you picked him because of that, because he's definitely my most like prestigious like brush with celebrity is George Clooney. I would think out of all the
Yeah.
different quote unquote celebrities or sports figures that I've been in like close proximity with, he's probably the most illustrious, I would say.
It's a good one.
So
So
it's
if
interesting.
if I was his friend, if I had some sort of expertise that he can use for whatever heist he wants to be involved with,
Hmm.
hey, I'm game.
Yeah,
Throw
sure.
me in there, give me a sliver of what I'm
Exactly.
good.
Yep, exactly. Just 100 grand, whatever, and I'll just make a phone
Yeah.
call for you or something. Yeah.
No, I mean, maybe a little bit more than 100 grand. I mean, these guys are making
Well, that's
millions and
true.
millions. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I guess it depends on the extension of what they
Right.
gave you to do or whatever. But
I'll
yeah.
just give you guys I'll take the least cut. I'm easy.
I like it. All right, my number 5 is a fucking weird one, Pete. But that's what I
Okay.
got to do, man. That's what I got to do. Now, I've got 2 females in my top 5. My wife, okay, so I don't want anybody to get too upset with me, made the suggestion as we were kind of verbally coming up with my list like an hour ago over dinner. She made the suggestion, well, you have to have a couple hot chicks on your list because you're you. And I'm like, well, yeah. You're not wrong because we were listing all dudes,
Yeah,
So then
yeah, you are you.
So then I start going, well, what, movie character women, because again, I was doing this thing where it was like I just had a beer with them. Like we just went out to
Yeah.
the bar, basically. So my number 5 is going to be the first of 2 females on my list. And it's going to be from the movie Midsummer, Danny portrayed by
Okay.
Florence Pugh. Now, have you seen this movie, first of all?
I have not, and
All right.
I too am a fan of her.
Oh, God. Well, yes, absolutely. I
Yeah.
love her. So Florence Pugh is a huge part of the reason I am absolutely infatuated with her right now. I feel like she's one of the best actresses working today. But this character, Danny, in the movie, I'm not going to spoil it for you since you haven't seen it, but she is a very, like, just grief-stricken character. Like, she's so sad, so depressed. She's, like, wandering around just existence. Like, she doesn't know where her life is supposed to go. She's at her wit's end. So, like, Danny, come with G. You know what I mean? Come on. And we'll just we'll talk about movies or like whatever. I'll buy you some drinks. Like I'll try to take your mind off of things for just a few hours. You know,
Yeah.
I'm not going to be able to fix it or whatever, but I mean, I feel like I could help take her mind off some stuff. And she could wear the floral headdress thing. It'd be great. So
Sure.
Danny from Midsummer. It's a weird pick, but but I started thinking about different females that I would actually want to hang out with for a few hours. First of all, Florence Pugh, and then you'll find out who the other one is, are definitely actresses that I would like to just have a couple beers with and just basically just swoon over them, the whole time.
Almost like, girl, you look like you can use a drink. Why don't you come over here and have a sip with me?
Yeah, so I'm interested to see what people think about that pick. It was kind of a left field pick, but I also love that movie. So
Okay.
Danny from Midsummer, portrayed by Florence Pugh, is my number 5. All right, man, so you had Danny Ocean at your 5. What is your 4, Pete?
All right, my number 4. In this first movie, it appears that this person didn't really have friends, and if he did, maybe I could have inherited something magical and just grand. I'm talking about Willy Wonka.
Oh, good one.
Yeah.
Now, do you care? Is this Gene Wilder's Willy Wonka or just
Yes. Yeah.
okay?
Definitely. Yeah. I would
Good call.
specifically Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, not Charlie. Just because, like, look, Willie, if you had me as a friend, you wouldn't need to have this the golden ticket charade and like, just give me your business.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I'll take care of it.
Right. But now, correct me if I'm wrong, but Gene Wilder in that role, iconic, right? I mean, one of the
Yes.
most iconic, if you want to say children's movie, but whatever, just iconic in cinema. It's a little creepy for young kids, though, right?
Oh,
Or no?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Very creepy. The boat ride, right?
Oh,
With the
nightmare fuel, dude.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. I would definitely.
But you're okay with it.
Yeah.
You're okay with it. You just want to go out for a beer with Willie, and
Well,
now would the beer
I'm still
be
interested
in
in
the
him.
boat? Because if the beer's in the boat, then that's a whole different.
You know what? I'm sure he has a river of beer somewhere. So
He probably does.
and,
Well, that's a
and
good pick.
you could be drunk and just start walking around, just start eating things. What's your favorite drunk food? Anything here? Just
Yeah,
start grabbing things off the trees.
lollipops, the whole thing. Yeah, no, that's good.
Yeah,
I like that. I didn't expect that pick either. The Danny Ocean one's kind of like, I don't want to say obvious, but it's kind of like, yeah, oh yeah,
that
absolutely.
makes sense.
But
Yeah,
Willy Wonka, I don't know. I feel like he might scare me a little. But I feel like you're right though. He would be a good person to know. You know what I mean? To like be on his side. You know.
yeah.
So,
And if you have a beer with him, I feel like he's got some great stories to share.
oh, no question, no question. Gene Wilder is a legend. Rest in peace. Good pick, man. Willy
Yeah.
Wonka is your 4. My number 4 is one that came to mind pretty quickly. And again, the actor that portrays this character has a lot to do with it because I do absolutely love this actor and he is hilarious. Almost every single movie I see him in, even the ones that aren't comedies, I'm like laughing at this guy. But I specifically picked his portrayal of Trent Walker in Swingers, and that's Vince Vaughn portraying that character of Trent in Swingers. Have you seen this?
I saw it. Yeah, like I don't know, a long time ago. I have
Okay.
seen it when I was working at Blockbuster back in the day.
Yeah, I mean, this movie's awesome. 1996 on this film. I graduated to high school in 94. I was in college, so this was a perfect time for this movie to come along for me. But Vince Vaughn and Jon Favreau are just doing their thing in this movie. And, Vince Vaughn's there to lift up Favreau. He's down on his luck. His girlfriend broke up with him. He can't get a date. He's failing as an actor because, they're out in Hollywood. And Trent in the movie is just like there to just like be his man, just make him feel better. Like take him out. He keeps calling him beautiful baby.
Yeah.
He's like, you don't know how much of a beautiful baby you are. Like, these chicks are going to come, and he's like just trying to pump his buddy up. So I feel like if I went out with Trent, like he would just be there for me, he'd just be pumping me up and buying me drinks and like making me feel good. And again, when I made this list, Pete, I did do like just one night hanging out with him, you know.
Yeah.
But I feel like it would be a cool experience. So
Vince Vaughn from Wedding Crashers, even
yeah.
Like he's almost like the epitome of like the perfect wingman, right?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, no question.
Yeah. I like that pick a lot.
I think I saw when I was making my list too, Pete, that Swingers is on like I think HBO Max right now, maybe. So I'm gonna rewatch it actually because when I was making my list, I was like, I haven't seen that in too long, and that's a crime. I love that movie, so I need to revisit it. But yeah, Trent from Swingers is my 4, which swings us over to you for your 3, Pete.
I see what you did there. Swings. All right, so my next one is my one and only woman in my top 5. I do have another one in my honorables, but this person, I feel, is a lot of fun. I like singing. This person likes to sing. And this person, you're going to have a bad day and she will lift you up. And I'm talking about Mary Poppins.
Oh, okay. Nice. That is such a wholesome pick, Pete. Look at you.
Yeah.
You're such a wholesome dude.
Instead of a beer, you can have tea with her. That's totally fine.
Have a beer, yeah.
Now,
is this Emily Blunt or is this Julie Andrews? What is this?
This is Julie Andrews. I actually have not seen The Return of Mary Poppins yet.
Oh, wow, okay.
But I'm a big fan of Saving Mr. Banks too. So I grew up on Mary Poppins. Like I can listen to the soundtrack, and I think it's a fantastic soundtrack as well. I'm trying to get my kids into the movie, but they're not really digging the animation with the
right, the old school, yeah. And what's interesting about that is those movies are timeless, but if you don't come to them at the right time, it's tough, because I ran into the same thing with my kids because I wanted to introduce Logan to Mary Poppins, and he wasn't into it, We were watching on Disney Plus, and he was kind of like, whatever. And then I haven't seen the new one either, but I absolutely adore Emily Blunt, so I really do want to check it out. But I also heard it was 2.5 hours. I'm like, what?
Well, the original is like over 2 hours also.
Yeah.
But, everyone has fond memories of it, I think. But, she can take you to these magical lands, hop into paintings, give you, spoonful of sugar. It'll help the medicine go down. Like, I think everyone should have Mary Poppins in their life.
Yeah, I agree, man. That's a wholesome, like, feel-good pick. I like that one. You're surprising me so far, Pete.
Oh, good, great.
I don't know. Were you attempting to do that? Because you're kind of surprising me a little bit.
No, actually, I was just like, I hope this is a good list. After I looked at it, I was like, it may not be sexy, but I think people will understand why.
Well, all right. So my number 3 is the other female in my top 5, and this is again, the actress that portrays this character, I'm infatuated with, like to a point where it's probably illegal in some areas of the world. But Scarlett Johansson portrays Charlotte in Lost in Translation from 2003. Did you ever see this film?
I have. Have you seen this movie? I don't think we know this about you.
I know, right? It's such a shock. Well, it's a 5-star film for me, as you know, but I love this movie. It's one of the best movies of the last 20, 25 years, in my opinion, and it is Sofia Coppola's masterpiece, in my opinion. I know it's not for everyone, but this is a movie where Charlotte in the film, there's a reason why the movie's called Lost in Translation, because her character is lost, and so is Bill Murray's character, Bob, as well. He's an aging actor who's also kind of lost and has taken on this role of being a whiskey spokesperson or whatever, scotch or whatever it is he's selling. And it's cool too because like I'm going to be 46 this year. Bill Murray in this movie, I want to say, is pushing 50, 48, 49 area. So it's like, if I go to Tokyo, am I going to meet like Scarlett Johansson and get to have drinks with her in the Tokyo bar? Yeah. I mean, that's
exactly it.
Karaoke, and we like listen to like K-pop bands and stuff before they were cool.
Absolutely, I think so.
And I love her in this movie, man. Like she's so tender, so subdued, like. And she really is kind of lost in her life at such a young age. And she met this guy that was much older, and it was just like a platonic thing, right? But they just like were really there for each other, the right time, the right place, and kind of what they both needed. And I love her character in this movie, so I would love to just have some drinks with her and just talk to her about music or movies or whatever. And especially if it was in a foreign country like that, where you're both kind of like in this bubble because you find somebody that's like you in this like sea of all these people that are different,
Right.
So So I really love it for that reason, as you know. But yeah, so Charlotte from Lost in Translation. Are you surprised by this one?
I yeah, not really, but I wouldn't have guessed it to be on your list. Like the selection of it is not a surprise,
Well,
but I probably wouldn't have been like, oh, Charlotte from Lost in Translation.
well, my wife had a very, very good thing for me to do when I was coming up with this list. She said, and shout out to her for helping me with this list because I had to cram, and she really was a
I
big
feel
help.
like you give her a shout out every episode.
That's true. I probably do. Yeah.
Yeah.
But she had a really good idea. She said, "Why don't you just think of your favorite actors and then what roles of theirs are people that you would like to?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, that's a good point." And Scarlett Johansson's easily one of my favorite female actors, and I was like, "Oh yeah, well, I mean, Lost in Translation, that's my favorite one." I mean, I guess I could have said Black Widow because then maybe she shows up in the black leather and all that. But I mean,
Right.
that's perhaps too creepy. I don't know if that works
Right.
really even for me. So yeah, so there you go. That's about 3, man. We're up to
I
our.
kind of did. I kind of did that too, where I started looking up like the filmography of some of my favorite actors. So I'm like, no, I'll die if I was friends with him there, and I just kept on scrolling, and so I was like, man.
Right.
So it was kind of hard, but I did have a big list that I needed to cut down, but
Right.
yeah. Those if I didn't have the criteria, if we talked about this like beforehand and said, yeah, have a beer. Oh yeah, I think this would be a completely different list for me.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, man. Well, hit us with your number 2, buddy. What do you got?
All right, my number 2 is probably no surprise to many people who do know me. This movie did come up in one of your episodes. I don't remember which topic it was, but it was with our mutual friend Amanda,
Mhm.
and you chose this movie on your list, and she's like, "Oh, Peter from Nostalgic would totally love this." But anyway, this is where I would benefit from being the friend. But Doc Brown from Back to the Future.
Good one. And it's in my honorable mentions. And I didn't put it in my top 5 because I knew I had a strong feeling you might mention it.
Right.
But talk a little bit why you want to hang out with Doc Brown.
See, I would be probably worse than Marty. I would sneak out the DeLorean, sneak out the train, depending what movie I'm in.
Mhm.
But how cool would it be just to be the friend to help Doc, like, with his experiments, to be not the guinea pig, but help him test things out,
Right.
just because he's so eccentric. And at one point, they were rich, the Browns, so the Von
Right.
Brauns even. But that was for my selfish thing, like to do a Biff in part 2 and sneak out the DeLorean to go do something.
Right.
But on the subject of being like a friend, I think Doc Brown would be a good friend because Marty bought himself the almanac, and Doc didn't flip shit, man. He was just like, look, that's not why I built the time machine, and he was fine
Right.
with it.
Right.
So I think he has I think Doc Brown is actually a pretty good friend, even though he's not necessarily thinking at times.
Well, I mean, I agree with everything you said. He's in my honorable mention, so I'll go ahead and just talk a little bit about Doc Brown now. But I mean, obviously an iconic character, right? But also, imagine the stories that you would get from this guy with the time travel stuff.
Right.
Right. I mean,
Yeah.
the places he's been and what he's seen, what he knows is maybe going to happen. Just a different.
Right.
I mean, it would literally be endless conversation. Like there would never be a moment of silence. Like he would always have something to tell you. You would always have questions to ask him. So yeah, I think it's a great pick, man. I just didn't put it in my 5 because I was almost sure you were going to pick either him or Marty. I didn't know which way you were going to go, but
Yeah, well, Marty, he's got some issues about being called a chicken, and he's still in high school, and he's part of this band that he's trying to send a demo tape to. So Marty
True.
definitely came up, but
True.
ultimately with Doc Brown, like if the movies didn't necessarily exist and he still had the DeLorean, I feel like me and Doc, we could travel time, through time rather, and see some amazing things, and we'll just keep it to ourselves. And at that point, I would not be, a shitty friend. But other than that, yes, I'm like, Doc, I am being friends with you because you have a DeLorean time machine.
Yeah, no doubt. Just be
Yeah.
upfront. Be upfront with it. All right, so
Yeah.
Doc Brown is your runner-up. It's a good pick, man. It's coming up in my honorables. Now, my number 2 is a little adjacent to what your number 5 was, but it's Rusty from the Ocean
Okay.
series, portrayed by Brad Pitt. I got to hang out with Brad Pitt, man. I mean, what am I doing with my
Absolutely.
life? How have I not hung out with this guy yet? Now, I could have picked literally like probably 20 different characters that he's portrayed, and I would be fine. Like True Romance, Cliff Booth
Tyler
from
Durden.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Tyler Durden, like he just has a knack for in these roles just being a really cool guy, like the coolest guy in the movie, in a lot of cases. And that happens in the Ocean series, particularly Ocean's 11, the first one, but the whole series is Rusty is just this cool, level-headed, just like heist magician almost. Like, he's just so like suave, and just the word cool just continues to come to mind. And same thing could be said for Danny Ocean, which you mentioned as Clooney as well. The two of them together, forget it.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm forgetting his character name, but Brad Pitt from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Cliff Booth.
Shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, Cliff. Yeah.
Yeah. So. I agree. He's just so cool, man. He's just, and in the Ocean series, if I'm with him and we show up at a bar or a restaurant or whatever, I just immediately am cool because I'm with him. You know? Like he's one of those characters, like just being around him, people are like, oh, wait a second. I mean, because if Clooney and Pitt, right, walk into a room together, I mean, women are literally fainting when they walk in. I mean, it's just like, they're just not even doing anything. They're just like walking into the room, you know what I mean? But it's just too much cool. You just can't take it. So you had Danny on your list, and I have Rusty on my list. I think that's pretty cool. So we have
I think that's perfect.
The dynamic duo there from Ocean's 11. That's my runner-up. And we're up to our number ones, Pete. So I'm excited to see or to hear who is your favorite, or I should say your most anticipated person that you would like to hang out with, a movie character. What do you got?
All right. For me, all the previous people are really great people, and they have, things I could definitely benefit from. But I don't think there's any other person that would have like the abilities that this person would have, and I think this person is probably. Honestly, this should be everyone's number one.
Oh,
and because otherwise you would never have a friend like him. And I'm talking about the Genie from Aladdin.
Hey, that's a fucking good one, man. I didn't think about him.
Yeah.
Oh well, I dropped the ball, but no, you're right. I mean, Robin Williams too. So
how fun would it be to have the Genie as your freaking friend, man?
Yeah. Especially that Genie.
Yeah, if you find yourself in a situation where you're tied up in the water and get knocked out unconscious, he'll save you. He's got the magic and all that stuff, and Aladdin freed him at the end of the first movie. So, he can do what he wants. We can go to Disneyland like he did after the first movie. But talk about singing Mary Poppins. So there we go, Genie number one.
No arguments here, man. I just didn't think of it. And I actually thought about doing an animated character on my list, too, and I still didn't think about it. But Robin Williams, I mean, got to be one of his best performances, even though I know it's just a voice performance. But so much of that was improvised and just so memorable. I mean, just undefeated performance, man. So good.
I think he was definitely one where I go, what? Like, there was a few actors where I was like, trying to think of like their best characters. Tom Hanks, Robin Williams.
Tom Hanks too. I didn't have him on my list either. All right. Well.
Yeah, I'm trying to. I think there was three, but I just ended up going. Well, no, maybe Peter Pan. So not a third actor, but like Peter Pan was another one. I go, well, his Peter Banning character is kind of a shitty dad.
All right.
Either way, yeah.
All right, well, there you go, man. So Genie from Aladdin is your number one. That's a great pick, buddy. So my number one is not even close to being the same. And is portrayed by one of those actors that I have just adored for decades. Like, I love him so much. And this was, cinematically at least, the introduction to this actor. And also, this would be the craziest hangout. And again, you have to remember, I was doing like a hangout, like a few hours.
Yeah.
This would be the craziest hangout where he would be doing impersonations. He would be telling me jokes. Like, the stories would just go on. But it's Ace Ventura, man.
Yeah.
Ace Ventura.
Yeah, I had a feeling. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I got to hang out with this guy, have some beer. I mean, could you imagine Ace Ventura drunk? I mean, come on. I mean, that would be intense.
Really tough. Yeah.
That would be intense because you got to imagine he's sober in the movies. So imagine him drunk.
Right.
But yeah, we just, I don't know, maybe we hit the pet store in the mall and, he tells me about all the pets there. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. We just have a day together. We just hang out. That's what I want to do. So Jim Carrey, I love. Ace Ventura, I love. I graduated high school in '94, the year this came out. And it really, I I know it's like cheesy to say, but it really changed my life. Like it was such a different type of comedy, and I've been a lifelong fan of this dude ever since. And I'm not saying it's like a masterpiece movie or whatever, but it just came in my life at the right time. And anything he did after that, it did not matter what Jim Carrey did after Ace Ventura, I was going to give it a shot. And 9 times out of 10, I liked it. So I'm a big fan of his, and this is one of the more memorable characters that he's ever done. I mean, he created an iconic character, in my opinion, with Ace Ventura. So there you go. There you go. That's my number one.
Agree. Yeah, Jim Carrey is one of my favorite actors as well. Ace Ventura. For the longest time, I always thought the second movie was my favorite, but then we reviewed the first movie, I think, a year or two ago, and me and Mariano were like, "Man, this movie holds up. Like it's legit good." So I think the first one is now better. I now need to rewatch the second one, to be honest with you. But I've been a big fan of Jim Carrey ever since In Living Color.
Yeah, me too, man. Just such a great comic genius, but he's such a good actor too. He's got this show on Showtime right now called Kidding. I don't know if you've seen that or heard of it.
No.
But yeah, he's really good, man. He just really knows how to stretch his, acting prowess. And he can do drama, he can do comedy. But yeah, he's good, man. So that's my number one, Ace Ventura. So there we go, Pete. Those were our top 5 movie characters that we want to hang out with. And I tell you what, man, we're going to take a quick promo break, Pete. And when we come back, we will wrap up our list for everybody, and then we'll give some honorable mentions, and we'll also see what the fans had to say over on Facebook. Okay, man? So sit tight. We'll be right back, guys. All right, Pete, let me... what the hell is going on over on YouTube? Are people talking over there? What's happening?
Yeah, you're getting some love.
Let's see what people are saying.
Nerd said good pick, G.
Let's see what's Brad just says Gerald sucks.
Yeah. I didn't want to share that one, but yeah, you saw it.
Let's see.
Oh yeah, I love the Bumblebee tuna line too. Like,
oh, Brad had a good point.
Your balls are showing.
That's right. Brad had a good point. Florence Pugh from Fighting with My Family would be a good one too.
Oh yeah, yep.
That's true. Yeah.
I mean, honestly, that's probably what I know her from.
Yeah, she was just so broken in Midsummer. She needed a couple beers with me, I think.
Yeah.
He also says he also says, what Nick Cage character would you like to have a beer with? That could be a good episode all in itself.
Absolutely. We'll just wait until we get to honorable mentions.
All right. Okay, let me go back to my list here. All right, man. So when I come back in, I'm just going to have you round out your top 5 again, and then we'll give our honorables, okay?
Okay, I also got that list I made of yours.
Oh, yeah, you can give that one come back to if you want. That's fine.
Okay, cool. Yes.
All right, guys, welcome back. As I said pre-break, Pete from Cobra Kai Kompanion is here, a good friend of the show, and we just talked about our 5 movie characters that we would like to have beers with or hang out with or be friends with. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what the title cards could say for this one. And Pete, why don't you remind everybody, what were your 5 again?
All right. My number 5 was Danny Ocean from the Ocean movies, Willy Wonka from Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, Mary Poppins, Doc Brown from Back to the Future, and Genie from Aladdin.
Good list, man. My top 5 real quick was Danny from Midsummer, Trent from Swingers, Charlotte from Lost in Translation, Rusty from Ocean's 11, and Ace Ventura from, of course, Ace Ventura. And
yours is a very diverse list.
When Nature Calls as well. All right, now, Pete, you had said something fun that you had a list that you kind of guessed the 5 that I was going to have. So before you tell me it, and then we're going to do honorable mentions, but before you tell me it, did you match up with me on any or no?
0.
Wow. Okay, go ahead. What was your 5 Gerald picks?
All right, so at number 5, I thought you might have Thug number 4 from Tough Turf. Okay. Number 4, the violinist from Titanic.
That's a good. That's a good one. Yeah, they went down with the ship, man. They played to the bitter end.
Absolutely. Number 3, I figured you would have Fisherman number 3 from Jaws.
Another good pick.
So,
How did I forget
number
him?
2, I thought you would have the Graveyard Keeper from Halloween.
Okay.
So
all right.
I missed out on that.
Yeah.
And the number 1 I thought you would totally have was Taylor Swift from Valentine's Day. Gerald, what's going on?
You know what? It's funny you said that. My wife was like, "What movies have Taylor been in?" I'm like, I'm not gonna. And if we did celebrities to hang out with, Taylor's on that list, brother. So if she's listening to this, don't be mad at me.
Yeah, but she was in the movie.
I know she was in a couple. Yeah,
I think she was playing like Taylor Lautner's girlfriend in the movie, and that's when they started dating the Tay there.
Tay. Yeah, she's actually going to be in the new Edgar Wright this year too. So that's exciting. She's doing things, man. Taylor's got it figured out. So
yeah.
All right, so let's give our actual honorable mentions now, Pete. What do you have over there for ones that didn't quite crack the top 5?
All right, just right after my 5, I have Mr. Green from a movie called The Night Before, one of my favorite Christmas movies with Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Seth Rogen, Anthony Mackie. Mr. Green is played by Michael Shannon.
I know of this movie. This is one that I've never seen.
Oh. Yeah. I went to go watch a screening of it when it first came out, and I immediately fell in love. I just thought it was hilarious. It's got that holiday feel. Joseph Gordon-Levitt is doesn't have a family, so he's got his 2 best friends, and every year they hook up together, and there's this big party that they're always trying to get to, and they just can't seem to get to it. But modern time, he is able to score these tickets, and it's just this magical party. Miley Cyrus plays, fictional Miley Cyrus. She's great.
Wow. Okay.
But Michael Shannon, he plays like a I don't want to give away too much, but he's a drug dealer, So and he is hilarious. Like Michael Shannon is great in everything he does, and he has like a small role in this movie, and it's so memorable. But yeah, again, I don't want to give it too much since you haven't seen it. I definitely recommend it.
I'll check it out.
But Michael Shannon, the drug dealer.
I'll check it out this holiday season for sure.
Mr. Green, rather. My number 7 right after that was Dominic Toretto. So there was a little talk about Dom.
Oh, come on. With the family thing, really?
The family, right? Like, if you're friends with him, same thing with Danny Ocean, right? He'll call you, and none of you guys will die, anything you do, and he'll give you Corona. It's all love, baby. All right?
All right, go ahead. That's fine.
So there's some talk about Nicolas Cage here in the chat.
Yes.
I had to throw in Benjamin Franklin Gates.
Okay, that's good. That's a good one. So I don't know if that's the Nick Cage I would pick, but that's a good one.
Yeah. I mean, again, like if we were friends, I would globetrot with this guy. He's a walking history lesson.
True.
And you're gonna find some really cool shit, and maybe you'll leave with some gold in your pocket. I don't know.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows? And if you don't, you got to hang out with Nick Cage. So.
Exactly. Valkyrie is also on my list here at number 9. Valkyrie from Thor.
Oh, from Thor. Okay, all right. When you said that initially, I was thinking of the Spielberg spy thriller, and I'm like, what? All right. Okay, no, that's fine. Yeah, Valkyrie.
She clearly she could drink. But she's just a badass chick that I would love to have as a friend, and she'll probably protect me.
No doubt.
And at number 10, and he's at number 10 because of the age difference, but again, mooching off of my friend Richie Rich.
Okay, fair enough. Macaulay Culkin.
Yeah, he's got his own McDonald's, his own zip code even.
Do it, man. Do it big, yeah. All right, so I can't believe you didn't mention my number 6. My number 6 would have been Ferris Bueller.
Oh, it definitely came up.
Yeah, I mean, come on, man. I mean, Ferris Bueller, so let's do it. And then you already mentioned my number 7, Doc Brown, and I already said why he's in my top 10. My number 8 would have been a duo, which is a little bit of cheating, but I feel like if you go with one or the other, it's not going to be the same experience. So I want to have a few hours having beers, plotting out murder with Billy and Stu from Scream. All right.
Okay. Yeah.
All right, Billy and Stu. It's kind of what I kind of figure out what's going on with those fucked up heads over there. They were funny too. They were funny, especially Stu. I mean, the guy's hilarious. Number 8 would have been Tony Stark, Robert Downey Jr. from the Iron Man films. And you're talking about kind of mooching off of him. I mean, come on, the guy's a billionaire, playboy. So, yeah, Tony Stark, and I love RDJ. And then my number 10 would have been Ron Burgundy.
Oh, of course.
From the Anchorman films, portrayed by Will Ferrell.
Just scotch.
We probably would have to drink scotch, which I'm not a big scotch fan, but if I'm hanging out with Ron Burgundy, I'm fucking drinking scotch. I'll tell you that right now.
Absolutely.
All right, Pete. So thanks, man. You know what we like to do to end the episode is we like to head over to Facebook and see what the fans had to say in the old suggestion box. What do you think, man? You want to do that real quick?
I think that's great. Absolutely. Cue in the Nick there.
Yeah, I think I might put in the sound drop there. I don't know. Let's see. I've been doing that kind of like here and there. I don't know. Let's see if I do it on this episode. But if not, I'll just edit this out. It never happened. All right, so over there on Facebook, I said, what movie characters would you like to hang out with? And here's what we got from a few of the fans over on Facebook. Jared, patron and friend of the show, says Dante and Randall from Clerks. That's a good one. That's another good duo that they go well together, you know.
Talk movies, sure.
Dude, how about the dude from Big Lebowski?
Iron Man was on my extended list. I removed him. Mr. Miyagi was originally in my top 5.
Yeah, I can't believe you didn't have a Karate Kid on there.
Yeah, I ended up kicking him out of the entire 10.
I put Elizabeth Shue in there, man. Come on. We gotta do that.
Hello. But look, again, my list would be completely different.
I know. Travis Crawford says Lord Nikon and serial killer from Hackers, which I'm not familiar with.
I've seen it like when it first came out. Like,
yeah, I do too, but I can't place those characters. But he has a really good one though. He says Randy from Scream, which is another character from Scream that I would really like to hang out with, and the dude from Big Lebowski.
Yeah.
Dan Truly says Kerry Russell's character in The Waitress, John Travolta from Michael, and Sandra Bullock in Miss Congeniality. That's a good one.
That's a good one.
Yeah,
Kerry
Sandy
Russell,
B.
I remember seeing. Was it Waiting?
Waitress.
Oh, okay,
yeah,
okay. Different
I think it's based on a stage play. I think, but yeah, I remember seeing the movie when it first came out. Kerry Russell's awesome, so can't fault him for that. Yeah. Let's see. Joshua Michael says Captain America, Gandalf, Yoda. Yoda's a good. That'd be a night right there.
Can you imagine Yoda drinking? Hearing his stories? Let's do it.
Lou Brown from Major League is a good one.
Yeah.
Luis from Ant-Man, Groot. Why would you want to have a beer with Groot? He can't say anything to you the whole time.
Of course he can. What are you talking about?
I mean, you have to understand what he's saying, I guess.
Right.
And then he said Billy the Kid from Young Guns. That's a good one.
Oh, that's a great one. Yeah. Emilio.
Mario, patron and friend of the show, says Fat Sam from Bugsy Malone. Brad, who's in the chat right now, says Jack Burton.
I thought about him, but he's not going to save your life if anything goes down. Wang is who you want as a friend.
That's true, yeah. That's a good point, actually. Dan Roski, the one and only. He is the man, dude. He's one of our top tier patrons. He is a promising young loyal. And he says Martin Blank from Grosse Point Blank, Lou Bloom, from Nightcrawler.
Huh.
Dangerous. That'd be a dangerous night.
Yeah.
The Bride from Kill Bill, and Patrick Bateman from American Psycho. So he's got a death wish, I think, Dan. I think we need to check on Dan Roski. Let's see. Josh Ragland, also a patron of the show, says Sean and Ed from Shaun of the Dead. That'd be good. He said have a few pints and play some games. Buddy the Elf. That'd be fun.
I've thought of him too, but he's got. I can't do anything. He'd be a good time, but I can't benefit off of Buddy.
That's true.
I mean, he could probably take me to the North Pole or something.
You get a heads up on next Christmas, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
Lauren Scott, a great dear friend of mine and friend of the show, says Shuri from Black Panther, Elle Woods from Legally Blonde, Danny from Grease. Oh yeah, for sure. Danny from Grease, Captain Jack Sparrow. That's a good one.
Yep. He's already drunk.
And Hermione Granger from Harry Potter.
Hermione, I had to knock out the top 10 too. Yeah, that's a fantastic list.
Please, yes.
Yeah.
Let's see. Patron and friend of the show, Joey Austin, says the Tri-Lambs from Revenge of the Nerds. That's good. That's good. Also says Lloyd Dobler. That's not bad.
Yep.
He mentioned Swingers. He said he wants to go to Vegas with the guy from Swingers.
Okay.
And then he says the Hot Tub Time Machine guys. All right, that's fair.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's and a shout out to Josh Hield, who wrote that movie, one of the creators of Cobra Kai.
Oh, nice. I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
And what we'll end on, which I thought was classy, because it's Hendo from the movie Journey, so of course it's classy, but he says a vodka martini with none other than James Bond.
I love it. I love it.
I mean, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
You got to hang out with 007, you got to have a vodka martini. All right,
Absolutely.
So there you go. Now, look, Pete, you're a friend of mine, dude, in real life, and you're definitely a friend of the show. You come back every once in a while, and we do these fun banter, fun top 5 lists. But why don't you tell everybody where they can find you? Because I got to tell anyone listening or watching right now that Pete is seriously one of the most genuine, nicest guys in all of indie podcasting. He's just such a great dude, and I just love knowing you. You know, you're just a cool guy to know. You're very supportive online whenever my show does stuff. So I really appreciate it, man. But they need to check you out, especially if they like Cobra Kai, which, of course, is on Netflix, because you have a really strong show going on covering Cobra Kai. And then whatever else you want to talk about, I know you got some other things going on too. So just tell them where they can find you, man.
Sure. The Cobra Kai Companion spelled with a K. That's become my number one show. So Nostalgic, I still do, but the episodes have been very sparse. I think that's the right word. We haven't done a whole lot of episodes, but Mariano, he's got things going on in life too. But whenever we can get together, we'll do movie reviews. But Gerald, the last time you came on, we did Back to the Future for its 35th anniversary, I believe it was.
So. I think so.
Yeah, East Coast Justin. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. So if people want to check that out, because you're on there, at Nostalgic on Instagram and Twitter. Cobra Kai is at Cobra Kai Pod on Twitter and Cobra Kai Companion on Instagram. And for those that are interested in that, we do episode reviews, but the what we're kind of known for really is our interviews. I just released the 80th interview that we've had from cast from the creators. So the creators have been on the show 3 times now. They call us friends. We're the only fans / podcast hosts that have been invited to the set. I went to Sony to hang out with the creators to shoot the shit, because we were down there at Disneyland. So Jared, kind of like what you're saying, like, you said I'm a genuinely nice guy. That's what they think of me too. So
that's great.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not seeing them extending the invites to other people. So we have, again, 80 interviews with cast and crew from the original movies and from the show. So very recognizable people, and a lot of content for you guys to consume if Cobra Kai's your thing.
Yeah, do it, guys. All the information I'm going to drop down below for you, too, in the show notes. Make sure you check Pete out, give him a follow. And I will tell you, if you're a fan of Cobra Kai, you got to do it. And, Pete was on me for like the better part of 2 years, and I finally got caught up on the show. Pete, you'll be happy to know that not only am I caught up on the show now, my son has watched it with my 8-year-old son, and my wife is currently watching it.
Okay.
So she said to me this a couple months ago, she's like, what? Because she binged Friends. She hadn't seen Friends, and she decided to watch it all before the reunion. And then she's like, what show can I binge? And I'm like, me and my son Logan were like, you need to watch Cobra Kai. You love Karate Kid from the 80s. Like, you'll dig it. So she's watching it, right? I don't know how far along she is because I've already seen it, but she's current. So my whole family's on board now, Pete. I know it took a while.
Yeah. Well,
I apologize.
It took the world a long time because everyone was waiting for it to come to Netflix.
True.
But funny you mentioned that, because like my 2 older kids, we have, you have a daughter that's about the same age as my 2 oldest. I have a son that just turned 21.
Yeah.
And my daughter is 19. Now my 21-year-old, I got him on like immediately, but my daughter, I was over at her apartment one day, and she's like, "Hey, Dad, when's season 4 come out?" I was like, "You watch Cobra Kai?"
Nice.
She's like, "Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you." Yeah, and she watched it when it came to Netflix, and she's on board with the show, and she'll occasionally text me like, "Did you find anything out yet?" I'm like, "Look, I'm not an insider. I just get interviews."
It's looking deep for the intel.
You've been to the set. Well, how do you not know? It's like they don't even know. So.
Oh man. Yeah, well, I'm excited when you're putting out that content, man. So keep doing what you do over there, brother, and hopefully I'll get you back on the show here soon too. Okay, man? Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right, guys, we will be back next week. We will have another top 5 and another P on the pod. Everybody take care. All right, Pete, we're clear of the recording.
Okay, I'll stop that.
Yeah, go over to GarageBand and stop my shit too, brother.
Do you want it raw?
Wow.
Do you want me to raise the levels a little bit, or?
Just, I mean,
as is?
Yeah, as is fine. As long as the level is fine. Yeah, so as is fine. I'll figure it out.
Let's see. Export.
And, hey, Hendo got in right in the nick of time there.
Peter 2 P's. All right, so that's exporting. Yeah, the Jack Burton really came up because I was like, man, I really want a Kurt Russell on here, and I was like, Jack Burton, but man, like in the middle of a fight, you won't be able to find him.
Yeah, exactly. All right, man, I appreciate you, and let me stop the thing over here before I forget to do this. All right, so I'm going to end the recording. I don't think it's going to cut us off, though. I think I'm just going to stop the live stream. But if it cuts us off, I love you. I don't think it will.
Likewise, man.